Hello students. So students, in the previous class in this chapter, that is metals and non-metals, we were talking about the physical properties of the metal and non-metal. You see students, if we talk about the different physical properties, so we have seen that if we talk about the state, so we seen that the metals and the non-metals, they show the different kind of a state. It means they exist in a different state. It means if we talk about the metal, so most of them they exist in a solid one, and the non-metals if we talk, so they may exist in the solid, liquid or even in the gaseous form. If we talk about the malleability and ductility, so you see that if suppose you will beat or you will struck that of the metal with a hard object, it will not going to break into pieces, but we are able to draw wires from it, or we are able to draw sheet from it. So they are malleable and they are ductile. But if we talk in case of that of the non-metals, so they are weak, they are not strong enough. So when we beat it with the hard object or with a hammer, so it will break into pieces. And this property of the non-metal is known as brittleness. So non-metals are generally brittle, but metals are malleable and ductile also. Now you see student, we have also seen that from this one thing is clear that the metals are generally hard. So if we see the property of the hardness, you will find that the metals are hard as compared to that of the non-metals. So non-metals are generally soft. Exceptions are there if we talk about in case of the metal. So sodium and potassium, they are quite soft metal. It means they are this much soft that they can be easily cut with the help of a knife. But if we talk about the non-metals, so non-metals are generally soft. Again, an exception is there, that is diamond, and diamond is the hardest natural substance. Conductivity, metals are generally good conductor of heat and electricity. Okay, it means they are a good they shows the good thermal conductivity as well as the electrical conductivity. While in case of a non-metal, they are a poor conductor of heat and electricity. So they do not show the good thermal conductivity or the electrical conductivity. So not only the students, there are a lot other things, like if you see the color also, so you will find that most of the metals, they exist either in the white color or black color or gray color. Okay, very few except that of the gold is there, which is yellow in color. While the non-metal, they exist in a different kind of a color. Okay, other properties students, so sonority. Yes, you see that the metals are generally sonorous. It means when you beat it with a hard object, it will produce ringing sound. But if you look at the non-metal, you will find that the non-metal are non-sonorous. So these are some of the properties. On the basis of that, physical properties are there. On the basis of that, we have differentiated the metal from non-metal. Remember that metal or non-metal, both are considered to be as an element. So we have classified them into the element category, but they differ from their properties. So we have classified the element itself into the metal and non-metal. Now let us move on and see that, okay, physical properties, they differ from this much. What about the chemical properties? How they differ from each other with the chemical properties? So, okay, so physical property and chemical property of the metal and non-metal. So if we talk about the chemical properties, actually here we are talking that what happened when the metals as well as the non-metals react with the different substances, and what kind of a product they form. Here we are talking about the chemical reaction that occur between the metal and the other substance. Now, what kind of other substance it can be? So, metal or the non-metal can react with the water, it can react with the oxygen as well as the acids also. So, what kind of a reaction, what kind of a product it will going to give when it will react with oxygen, with water as well as acid. Okay, so we can write it that chemical properties is what? The kind of chemical reaction shown by the metals and non-metals and non-metals when they react with water, oxygen and acid. Okay, and acids. Okay, so we will study and go through that what kind of a reaction a metal give when it react with oxygen, then non-metal, what it will form, what kind of a product will be formed, what is the nature of that product, and then we also discuss that what happen when it react with the water as well as the acids also. So let us start with the reaction with oxygen. It means we will talk the reaction with oxygen in which the metal first react with the oxygen, with what kind of a product we get, what is the kind of a nature of the oxide which is formed, and then we will also discuss that what will happen when the non-metal react with the oxygen. Okay, so first of all, reaction with the oxygen. Reaction with oxygen. So we can write here that both, either it can be a metal or a non-metal, metals and non-metals, both react with oxygen to form oxide, to form oxides. Okay, so both of them they react to form the oxide here. Now what will happen when the reaction of the metal occur with the oxygen? So reaction of metals with oxygen. Reaction of metal with the oxygen. Okay, so generally what happens, the metals they react with the oxygen to form the metal oxide. Now the metal oxide which is formed here, it is basic in nature. Okay, so what happened that this metal oxide it will form base or alkalis when it react with the water. So first of all, when the reaction occur between the metal and the oxygen, then there is a formation of a metal oxide. Now this metal oxide is basic in nature. How we will come to know about that? When this metal oxide react with the water, it will form a alkali or a base. Okay, so let me tell you that what happened here, that is metals when it react with oxygen. So there is a formation of a metal oxide. Now this metal oxide is what? It is basic in nature. Okay, it is basic in nature, and when this metal oxide it react with water, it will form a base which is also a alkali. Okay, so this basically happen when a metal it react with the oxygen and then the metal oxide react with that of the water. Now the different metal they react with the oxygen at a different temperature. Okay, it varies with the different kind of a metal. It means there are some of the metals which react vigorously with the oxygen and there are which need temperature. There are which need low temperature to react and some of them they need high temperature to react with the oxygen. Okay, so we can write it that different metals reacts at different temperature with oxygen. Okay, and what is the thing which decides that it reacted at this temperature? That is its reactivity. Okay, so we can say that it depending upon their reactivity. So you see students, the question arises that why it happens, means why some of the metals are there, they are very vigorously react with the oxygen. It means they do not need a high temperature and they can react with the oxygen to form the metal oxide. And there are which need heat, which need temperature so that they react with the oxygen to form the metal oxide. So basically what happened here, they require different kind of a temperature because their reactivity varies. There are metals which are very reactive. So when they are reactive, so obviously it will going to react with the oxygen very fast. And there are which is less reactive, so they need temperature. There are metals which are very less reactive, so they need high temperature to react. So totally depend upon their reactivity, we can say that they react at a different temperature. Okay, now let us see the example and try to understand the concept. So if we talk students, so let us see with that of the sodium, the first one. So sodium, it reacts vigorously with oxygen. Okay, it reacts vigorously with oxygen even at a room temperature. At room temperature. Now what happened? The sodium, the formula is Na. So when this Na will react with oxygen, so it will form sodium oxide, which is represented by Na2O. So you see student, we are able to balance here. There is two oxygen and two sodium is also there. So at first we will try to see that oxygen is balanced, then 2 into 2, 4. 4 Na, 4 sodium will react to form the. Don't worry about this balancing, that how will you balance, because this balancing is in the higher class. Till that you will try to write the reactions very much so that you can understand that what will happen when these two react with each other. This balancing, how it does it came, you will going to study in a higher classes only. Okay, so you will see the reaction, that how the reaction take place. So basically sodium, it is represented by Na. When this Na react with the oxygen, which is represented by O2, then there is a formation of Na2O, and which is also called as a sodium oxide. Okay, here we will write it as a sodium, and here you know that is oxygen. Now, this is the first step. It means it reacts very fast. Even at the room temperature, this happens. Now, when this sodium oxide, Na2O, will react with the water, which is represented by H2O, it will form an alkali or it will form a base, you can say, because it is basic in nature. So it will going to form NaOH. Okay, NaOH is what, student? That is 2NaOH. That is sodium hydroxide. Okay, so this is called as the sodium hydroxide. So this is sodium oxide. This sodium oxide react with the water and then there is a formation of a sodium hydroxide. Okay, so here we have seen that the sodium react with the oxygen very fast, very vigorously. Vigorously it means very fast, even at the room temperature. Now, what does that prove? This reaction also proves here one thing, that sodium is what? Very reactive. Okay, because when we had started only, then we said that they react at a different temperature, and this reactivity totally depend upon their reaction or this reaction with the oxygen take place depending upon their reactivity. The more reactive it is, easily it will react with the oxygen. So you see here, students, here the sodium is considered to be very reactive. Okay, so due to very reactive, it will easily get react with the oxygen to form sodium oxide. Now let me tell you one thing, that sodium is this much reactive that they have to be kept in a kerosene oil. Not only sodium but even potassium is also the same. So sodium and potassium is considered to be highly reactive, that if suppose you will keep them outside, then it will react with the oxygen which is present in the atmosphere and form the sodium oxide. So the reaction should not take place, means the sodium do not react with that of the oxygen. For that, to prevent this reaction, we used to keep sodium in a kerosene oil. Okay, so we can say that sodium is very reactive. Now what happened? This reaction between that of the sodium to the oxygen is very reactive that it catches fire. Okay, so we can also write it that sodium is very reactive that it catches fire. Okay, if it is left open, and thus we used to keep it in a kerosene oil. Keep it in a kerosene oil. Okay, so they are highly reactive. So when you left it as it is open, then what will happen? It will react with the oxygen which is present in the atmosphere and catches fire, and due to which we used to keep it in a kerosene oil. So this was about that of the sodium. Now let us see the another kind of a metal like calcium. So if you talk about the sodium or even potassium, so they react vigorously with the oxygen and form the sodium oxide. Okay, metal oxide. What happened in the calcium? So calcium react on heating. It means it is less reactive than that of the sodium and potassium. So we can say that we have to provide a sufficient amount of a heat, and due to which it will form the calcium oxide. Okay, so we can write it that calcium react with oxygen. It react with oxygen on heating. So here calcium is Ca. This is the symbol of calcium. When it react with oxygen O2, then there is a formation of a CaO. So 2 calcium is there, so we will write here 2. 2 oxygen is there, so we will write here 2O. Okay, so calcium oxide is formed. Again, when this calcium oxide react with that of the water, so calcium hydroxide is formed. Next one is magnesium. You have seen the magnesium wire. It was in the previous classes also. Magnesium wire, when you will burn it in the air, it will burn with a dazzling flame, okay, and get converted into the magnesium oxide. So magnesium burns in air with a dazzling light. With a dazzling light to form magnesium oxide. To form the magnesium oxide, and so you see students, Mg. Mg is what? It is the symbol of magnesium. When it reacts with O2, then there is a formation of a magnesium oxide. We can write here magnesium oxide. Okay. This is magnesium. Okay. So this magnesium will react with the oxygen to form the magnesium oxide. Now, is there any metal is there which is of a very least reactive or very less reactive that you have to apply, or you have to supply more amount of a heat to convert it into their oxide? Yes, copper is there. So copper, when you provide a heat, means on a giving a high temperature, when we heat at a high temperature, only then it will react with that of the oxygen slowly to form the copper oxide. Okay, so these things we have seen that the sodium, it reacts vigorously, even it do not need a heat. It will react at a room temperature itself and get converted into the sodium oxide. In calcium you have to supply a little amount of a heat to it. In magnesium you have to burn the magnesium wire, means you have to supply more heat. And in case of a copper, you have to supply more and more amount of heat, means it will going to burn, it will going to heat at a very high temperature and slowly react with the oxygen to form the copper oxide. So we can write it that copper on heating with the high temperature reacts slowly with oxygen and form copper oxide. Okay, react slowly to form the copper oxide. Now see, this 2Cu plus O2, this will form 2CuO. Okay, this is what this is, copper oxide. Okay, this is called as the copper oxide. Now, what will happen when a non-metal react with the oxygen? So, when a non-metal react with the oxygen, again there is a formation of an oxide, and this oxide is what? It is a non-metal oxide. Now, this non-metal oxide are generally acidic in nature. Okay, so it reacts with the water to form the acid. Now you see here, student, when we were talking about in case of the metals they form the oxide, but this metal oxide is basic in nature. And how we come to know about it? When this metal oxide reacts with the water to form the base. Here, in case of the non-metal oxide, it is acidic in nature. So when it reacts with the water, it will form a acid. So let us start and try to understand the reaction of the oxygen with the non-metal. reaction of non-metals with the oxygen. Means what will happen when a non-metals react with the oxygen. So we can write it here that the non-metals, first of all, they react with the oxygen when we provide a heat to it, when we burn it. Okay, so on burning it react with the oxygen, and it means when it react with the oxygen here, it will form a non-metal oxide. Okay, it will form a non-metal oxide, and then this non-metal oxide react with the water, then there is a formation of a acid. Okay, so we can say that this non-metal oxide is acidic in nature. Okay, that metal oxide was basic in nature, and here the non-metal is acidic in nature. Okay. Now we can take an example, and suppose we will take an example of a sulfur. You know, sulfur is there, phosphorus is there. These we consider them as a non-metal. So what will happen when the sulfur react with the oxygen? So you know that when the sulfur react with the oxygen, it will form sulfur dioxide, and this sulfur dioxide, when it react with the water, it is acidic in nature. So it will form the sulfurous acid. Okay, let me show you about that. First example if we take here, students. So sulfur, on burning it will react with the oxygen. When you provide a sufficient amount of a heat, when you burn it, then there is a formation of a sulfur dioxide. Let me write it with the help of the symbol also. So here sulfur is represented by S only. Okay, and this sulfur, when it reacts with that of the oxygen, then on burning there is a formation of SO2, which is also called as the sulfur dioxide. Now what will happen when this sulfur oxide will react with the water? So this sulfur dioxide, what we are saying, student, that it is a non-metal oxide, so it is acidic in nature. It means when it reacts with the water, it will form a acid. Okay, so this sulfur dioxide, that is SO2, when it reacts with the water, that is H2O, then there is a formation of a H2SO3. Okay, and this is known as sulfurous acid. Okay, so there is a formation of a sulfurous acid that occur when the sulfur dioxide react with that of the water. It means we consider them that it is a acidic in nature. Is there any other example is there of the non-metal, student? Yes, the carbon. So carbon is what? It is also a non-metal. So what will happen when the carbon react with the oxygen? You know that the carbon, when it react with the oxygen, then there is a formation of a carbon dioxide. So second we will see here, and that is carbon. Okay. So C, we represent carbon by C. We will write here carbon. When this carbon, it is burned with the oxygen. When this carbon, it reacts with the oxygen, that is O2, we will write here oxygen. Then there is a formation of a acidic gas, and that is known as the carbon dioxide. You all are very familiar with that of the carbon dioxide. Okay, so it will form a gas, and that is known as CO2, which is represented by carbon dioxide. Now, when this carbon dioxide will react with the water, then there is a formation of an acid that is known as carbonic acid, represented by H2CO3. So this CO2, now it is a metal oxide, non-metal oxide, student. Non-metal oxide When it reacts with that of the water, then there is a formation of H2CO3, which is also called as carbonic acid. You can see that the acid itself tells that it is acidic in nature. So this is all about that of the reaction of a metal and non-metal with the oxygen.